It is time for your favorite Android podcast from the combined crew of blindandroidusers.com and accessibleandroid.com. Now, kick back and enjoy another fine episode from these Android fanboys and gals as they navigate Android from a blindness perspective. And now, here's your crew. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 128 of the Blind Android Users Podcast. We're recording today, Saturday, May 20, 2023. I'm Warren Carr alongside with my co-hosts. I got a pretty one in London, Fee Dunn, Doug Cameron in Canada, and Austin Pinto in Mumbai, India. Coming up in the Android Basics segment, we return to the PlayStore and look at the categories section as well as the Keys section. That is followed by the Spotlight segment where we highlight GAAD, G-A-A-D, Google Accessibility Awareness Day. That is followed by the App of the Week, and Miss Karene closes this episode with another entry from the commentary screen reader, or what I call the confused screen reader, or Joshua screen reader if you're Austin. That's what we've got coming up for you in this episode. Guys, welcome to episode 128. Cam, let's get started with you, man. Is it still hot like what we have here in my neck of the woods?
It's supposed to be. Whether or not it's gonna is another story. Our biggest thing is it is so smoky, it is ridiculous. We've been issued a air quality warning because it's hitting 10 plus, which is the highest it can go for severity. All of these damn fires are just making it so bad for breathing in the entire province. I've read a couple articles that are saying the smoke from the fires in Alberta are reaching into Wisconsin, Michigan, Ontario. Basically, they're going way out east. So I'm hoping we're not going to be too hot this weekend, but you never know.
Oh, my goodness. That's absolutely bad. It's like what we had maybe a couple of years or so ago from Oregon, and it was just absolutely bad here in the state of Washington. I mean, you could actually have tons of ashes on your car, and kids were not allowed to go outside at schools.
Exactly.
It was that bad. Absolutely bad.
Well, it was that bad just a couple of years ago in BC when they actually had an entire town burned down. So, I mean, we're pretty much that bad right now. It's kind of scary.
Wow. Young pretty lady, you were not here last week. You had some fun last week. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. The weather's getting quite nice now. Getting up to 19 degrees Celsius here in London. So I've been spending a lot of time in the garden. I was singing last week. Now I'm preparing for a church service I'm leading next Sunday on the 28th. And it's slightly scary because I'm being assessed next week to see if I can go to my next stage of training. So, yeah, it's a lot less challenging than it is for Doug. Yes, we did have some people having a barbecue the other day, but that was a bit smoky, but that was right next door and it was only for one afternoon. So, you know.
And actually, that is a delicious smoke.
Well, it was a bit smoky for deliciousness, but they had a very good band actually playing in their garden. And it was a bit loud, but they were very, very good musicians, and it was only for one afternoon, so I could forgive them that. So I basically had a free concert in my garden, so that was quite fun.
Now, the thing is that, Fee, you don't like barbecues, right? You're just a vegetarian.
It depends what you're barbecuing. Something like halloumi would be quite nice, or some veggie sausages or something. Yeah, it'd be all right.
Halloumi?
But I'm glad I hadn't hung out any washing that day, because that would have been a bit smelly.
I see.
We've had lots of birds singing as well, so it really feels like spring, summer. Really nice.
Yeah. Austin Pinto boy, what's going on with you there in Mumbai, India?
So in Mumbai, it's like the end of May is approaching. and it's getting more humid than it's getting hot. The weather is almost, the temperature always is 39, 40, in that the late 30s, early 40s. It's never climbed to early 40s up to now, but it will climb as we enter June, because then it's going to be the month of monsoons, 3 months, and thunder, lightning, and a really nice season that will be. So it's like very hot now, more humid than hot. So just waiting for the monsoons, fed up of the heat, and I would definitely take 19 degrees Celsius, the UK weather, anytime.
Well, maybe you guys could blow the breeze from your area out to the UK and let them blow theirs out to you, something like that. Cool it down a little bit.
This is Android Basics, in which we bring you up to date on the things that you should know to use your Android phone.
Moving on now, we move on to the Android Basics segment, and this week we return to the Play Store. We're talking about two categories, especially the Categories tab, and then we'll also be talking a little bit about the Kids tab. I have, however, recorded a little preamble to the segment, and now here's that preamble, and then we'll talk about it after the preamble. Here's that preamble. A few weeks ago, when we got started on the Play Store series, I did a little preamble where I showed you all the tabs on the top part of the phone, as well as those found at the bottom. Today, though, we want to look at the Categories tab, and that one is found near the top. If you have TV devices or audio devices, you'll have 5 tabs near the top. If you don't, you're going to have 4. I'm going to be using an account that does not connect to any of my TV devices, and so I will be having 4 tabs at the top and not 5. So we're looking today at the Categories tab, and we'll look at the Kids tab as well and see what the kiddos have in there. I am now on the Play Store and will now move to the Categories tab and look at what we have here in the Categories tab. Let's go ahead and navigate to Categories tab.
Categories, tab, 4 of 4.
Here is that Categories tab, and now tapping here to activate Categories tab.
Categories, selected.
I'm told that Categories is selected, and so what's happening here is that everything that we have on here will have to do with categories. We'll have things like
Watch apps, in list. Watch faces.
I'm just going through these quick, maybe a few of them, and then we'll talk about what matters most.
Art and design. Augmented reality. Auto and vehicles. Beauty. Books and reference. Business. Communication. Dating. Education.
This is just but to name a few of them, as there are lots and lots of things found here in the categories. So for example, let's say I want to tap on the communication tab or the communication listing, for example. Let's go ahead and tap on communications.
Dating. Communication.
Here is communication. If I tap here,
Search Google Play, button, out of list. Communication.
so I am now in the communication tab, or rather communication listing, and everything in here will be relating to communication. And putting my finger down at random,
App. Tor browser. Star rating. 4.4. 2. App. Microsoft Edge. Web browser. Star
and I'm
rating.
going to
4.
scroll.
App. Folder sync. Star rating. 4.5. App. KakaoTalk. Messenger. Star rating. 4.3. 3
So
of 4.
let's say,
in list.
for
4
example,
items.
that I wanted to search for something here in the communications area. Say I want to search for something like phone or a keyword like call, C-A-L-L. I'm going to find the search button.
Search Google Play, button.
I'm going to tab here on the search Google Play near the top right.
Edit box. Search apps and games. English US QWERTY shown. Expand toolbar.
And it says search apps and games. I would love to hear it say that I'm searching within the communication area, but I believe that if I search for a keyword here, it should be making that search within the communications listing. So now I will type in the word call, C-A-L-L.
C. C. A. A. P. L. Lima. L. L.
I've typed in C-A-L-L, and now mashing on that search.
Search. Communication. Call. Keyboard hidden.
Now that I have searched for the keyword call, and I'm going to put my finger down, see what I find as a result.
Text now. Call plus text unlimited. Add. Text now. Inc. Install. Button.
Uh-huh.
Say goodbye to phone bills.
So it plays text now as one of the very first ones, and actually it has the install right to the right of it. Now, if I
Install.
scroll down, however,
Call of Duty Mobile Season 4. Activision Publishing, Inc. Action. Tactical shooter. Multiplayer.
basically,
Star rating.
anything
4.3.
that has to
Downloaded
do
100
with
M
the
plus
keyword
times.
call
Editor's choice.
gets dumped on here, and not necessarily, this may not be even the communications tab or communication listing, but I think it's searching the general Play Store as to searching within the communications listing, something I was mentioning earlier.
Easy phone. Dialer and caller ID.
I'm gonna
LSM
move on
apps.
down.
Contacts plus. Contacts plus team. Communication.
So it seems so far those ones belong to that category.
Truecaller. Caller ID and block. True Call of Dragons. FARLIGHT.
Now
Strategy.
there we have the
Role playing.
dragon here.
MMORPG. Star rating. 4.2.
And I don't think that the
Downloaded 1M
dragon
plus times.
belongs here in the communications tab. So this is where I see a problem, because if one should search here, it should be searching just the communications, but it seems like though it searches the whole area instead. And so I think in order to be able to find what we're looking for is to tap on the category and just go through all that is found within that category. So for example, let me go back.
Communication. Out of list.
So I'm back in communication instead of the search. And if I just scroll down and look through the items that are found here in the communication tab or listing, I'll have
1. App. WhatsApp Messenger. Communication.
WhatsApp.
Video chat. 2. App. Snapchat. 3. App. Messenger. App. Snapchat. App. KakaoTalk. App. Signal Private Messenger. App. Truecaller. Messaging apps. Heading. Out of list.
And then I come to a heading talking about messaging apps.
More results for messaging apps.
And I could tap there to see messaging apps. So now let's go back and tap on the kids category and see what we have. So I'll now move to the kids tab.
Kids. Tab. 3 of 4. Kids. Selected.
There I am in the kids tab, and putting my finger near the top.
Everything here is teacher approved. Out of list.
Of course, everything in here is teacher approved. And so everything we find here is relating to kids.
Learn more. Button.
And I'm going to scroll down.
Support kids' well-being. Mental Health Awareness Month. YouTube Kids. Star rating. 4.4. Khan Academy Kids. Learn. ABC Kids. Learn to read. Dual. ABC 120. Donnie. Video books. Audiobook. Piano Kids. Music and songs. Coloring games. Color and paint. Kids games. For toddlers 3 to 5. Star rating. 4.8.
And there we have all the categories, for the age groups and all of that, like I showed in the preamble when we introduced the Play Store. And of course, if I try to do a search here, we probably get the same thing that we had. So I'm going to try to search something here.
Search Google Play. Edit box. Search apps and games. English US QWERTY shown. Expand toolbar.
And I'm probably just going to tap on the voice dictation.
Voice search. Button.
Clifford, the big red dog.
Play Store. Voice search. Button.
So I remember something from PBS called Clifford the Big Red Dog, and I just tap that in and see what I get.
PBS Kids Games. PBS Kids.
Uh-huh.
Ages up to 8. Educational. Casual. Star rating. 4.4. Downloaded 10M plus times.
Okay.
Teacher approved. Expand content for PBS Kids Games.
And move down.
Sago Mini Dogs. Sago Mini. Ages up to 5. Floof. My Pet House. Tudo Tunes. My Diggy Dog. King Bird Limited. Arcade. Action. Casual.
As
Star
you can
rating.
see,
3.3.
we seem to get
Downloaded
things
1M.
relating to
Crayola
kids
Scribble. Expand
here
content.
when I tap or when I search for Clifford the Big Red Dog. And of course, we saw near the top there, PBS Kids, and that's where the Clifford the Big Red Dog is coming from. That is what it is like when you use some of these tabs or these categories and then go into the different items that they have. I will now hand you over to the podcast crew as we talk about these things, what we like and what we probably do not like. And now here's the crew to talk about these categories. So that's it about that preamble, guys. So I mentioned a few things here, and I do want to start off, though, by what I don't like, and that's the search. For example, I showed a few searches in there. I was searching for the keyword call, and I was just expecting that I was just going to find things that belong to the communication segment. And I was seeing things that didn't actually belong there, and I was not very happy. I think I would love to see where it says search in communication. And when I do that search, everything that I search will be searching exclusively from within that communication listing. However, it appeared like when I used that keyword, instead of searching within that communication listing, it actually was searching like the whole PlayStore, although the focus was mainly on the communication segment. Is there something that you guys see here that is a little bit inconsistent, just like I kind of have highlighted?
Yeah, it seems you can't search within a category, apart from spending ages browsing all the apps, and that's kind of clunky.
Yeah, it's kind of a deterrence for me. Like, I'd actually find it easier to search through a category specifically than have to search the entire Play Store, just because it's, if you know what you're looking for, but you don't know the name of the app, it's more expedited if you can just search the category it should be in. Because like your example, Warren, if you type in the word call, logic says it should search communications, but it's also going to be searching through the games, because then things like Call of Duty are going to pop up, and it's not efficient.
Yeah, and I don't think I want to be part of Call of Duty, you know.
I mean,
And so-
look, it's an awesome game, but you know.
Yeah, well, it's a great game, and you know, people who play it love it. I don't play any games on my phone, and I don't doubt that Call of Duty is actually a great game. But I just, when I typed in that keyword call, my expectation was that I was going to be finding things relating exclusively to anything that has to do with calling. Say I want to make a call, I want to call Fee, I want to call Cam or call Austin. I want to find some app that I could use in calling. And so I was surprised when I saw that in there. And I'm kind of thinking, though, on a second thought, it could be that these things are probably floating from some of the recommended stuff and just by some chance, you know, got in there. But then I don't know. Cam, like you said, though, if I want to search, and if I'm in a category, for example, like that communications, or I'm in sports, or I'm in auto, or whatever, I want everything that I search for coming strictly from within that category, and don't bring something that doesn't belong. But even though it still brings a few things like we saw that Call of Duty, though, the majority of the stuff there are mainly relating to that communication. So I think it's okay for a few things to slip in there now and then, which is not too bad after all, is it?
I think it's by design that it searches the whole Play Store, though. But I wish there was a filter, like a search filter, and you could say only communication or whatever. Yeah, I don't like that you can't do that other than browsing through all the apps.
And those are supposed to act as filters, because you have a lot of those categories in there, or I mean listings like that, communication or watch faces and stuff like that. So if I had clicked on the watch faces, for example, and I just type in something like cat, so I'm looking for cat watch faces, I should have watch faces relating to the cat face, and I shouldn't have any other thing else there. And that's how it's supposed to be. But I guess that Google algorithm is maybe a little bit too powerful, and it goes outside of bounds and searches elsewhere. That's all I can think of.
No, I think it's by design. I think they make it so it searches all the categories.
I think
Personally,
you're right.
I don't
it's
think
by
they
design.
should, but I think that's how they've designed it, to search all the categories, which I, like you, find a bit annoying. So
It is annoying, although it cuts down a lot, but it still brings in things that you may not want. But I guess we'll get better someday, right?
And
It's
app
all about getting better.
recommendations are weird as well. I know you didn't really cover that today, but they, like, sometimes it recommends apps I've already got and stuff, and you think, how personalized is this really? You're recommending me Audible. I've been using Audible for years. What? Why? Things like that. Very silly. I think the Play Store is a bit.
And some of those things, because they're like the featured apps, and so every month or every week you got these featured apps, and Audible seems to have taken a prominence on there for some reason.
They're
It's
probably
always
paying,
there.
I expect they're paying, aren't they?
You are right. Yeah, they're paying.
Those of us who are Audible members pay Audible to be Audible members, so they've got the money to do it, right? So they can. And I mean, it's a good service, Audible. You get lots of books and things, but it's a bit annoying having stuff advertised to you that you already use. You think, well, look, you're getting me to sign in and have an account and everything, and you're still recommending stuff I've already got. Stop it! It's like the search. It's clumsy,
But just think of it this way, though. It's a whole lot better than what the marketplace used to be. And frankly, it seems like Google is constantly tweaking the Play Store. Look at it like a couple of years ago, or even 1 year ago, it was totally different. And before too long, before we know it,
I used to prefer it before.
Actually, I prefer it now. I know it was kind of hard getting used to it because it was a little bit confusing, and I knew people didn't like it because, all the how to find your things in the library. You tap on library, and you're thinking you're going to find your apps there. It wasn't there. So I can see the frustration that brought to people when it got introduced. But it's like Google never seemed to leave it alone. They constantly
because it
tweaking that
worked,
stuff.
and then they just have to change it again. Oh man, the Facebook effect. They're always doing that as well. Stuff works. I know. We'll change it. Stop it. Just stop it.
Yeah, I don't know about Facebook since I don't use it, but I know that this Play Store is constantly changing.
I think most things are nowadays, aren't they? They're.
I think so.
They can't leave them. I suppose it keeps people in jobs, right?
Keeps them in jobs and keeps, making us have to figure new stuff out and realizing that, oh crap, we got to pay for something now, but we really like this feature, so we're going to pay for it and give them money. So they're going to keep implementing more new features behind paywalls,
And I think that what I don't like is that I don't mind them, tinkering with the stuff and all of that. But by golly, when you do it, don't mess up what works for me. For example, for the longest time, maybe for more than half a year, we were not able to, especially some people were having difficulty when you find an app, you tap on it, it's not going to take you to where you can install it. You have to long press and all of that. So see, they messed that up.
Yeah, that was annoying.
I mean,
So
I actually
annoying.
still occasionally from time to time have that issue. It's so weird. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah. So if you change things, it's okay, but leave what already works. That's
That's
all
why
that
I
I
don't
ask.
like the Play Store now, because it used to just work when you double tapped on an app. It just worked. And now it often doesn't. It's like, oh man.
Yeah, now they
Um,
fix it, but also on the web, like we said earlier, when we started on the Play Store series, you go to your browser and you couldn't find where to search. You click on search, it takes you to help, and so they finally fixed that, as we indicated the other time when we talked about it. So these are some of the things that changes that I think someone doesn't pay attention and touches things that should be left alone. Leave them alone.
I thought you were saying you type search and it takes you to hell.
Yeah, it takes you to help.
It
Yeah,
takes you to
it
hell.
does. It takes you to technical hell.
Yeah, it takes you to hell. Well, if it doesn't take you to, if it does not take you to help, then of course it's taken you to hell. I mean, if it doesn't take you to what you're looking for, but instead takes you to help, what am I looking for help for? I looked for an app called Envision or Lookout, and you brought out help when I clicked on search. That was absolutely bad. Whoever did that, Google, you should cut their pay.
Yes. Take
I'm
them to
glad it's
hell.
fixed. Yeah,
Take them to hell.
Oh my goodness. I hope Google doesn't strike us for using the word hell here. You know how Google is.
I hope not.
So I never used the category of the Play Store because I always knew the app name. So I wanted to say that if you knew the app name, you could just search for it, and that will be a quicker way to get it. But if you use the category in the Play Store, then you'll have to browse through the list of apps in that category and then install it. So if you know, then search is a quicker way. But if you don't know the app, getting into the category, then it will be a little bit slow way, but also it will be a sure way that you'll get the app.
I think that where the categories come in handy, though, is that actually I see it more or less like an app discovery, for example. So if you go into a particular category, you can see all the different apps that you probably didn't know about. And so I think in order to find out about apps you don't know about, maybe it's not a bad idea to actually do those categories and see what is in there. You may find a gem in there because you got different apps that you didn't know of before, but as you browse through those apps category, you could find some app that you may be looking for. And sometimes I do that, and that's why now and then I find something great. So it's actually a good idea to go into those and look at those categories and see what they have.
Or
And
you
this
can
is
listen
why
to our
Warren
podcast.
requires so much space on his phones, because he has so many apps.
Of course, because I like app discovery. It's very hard to find out what is new in the Google, Play Store. I wish they have a tab that says new arrivals. You know what I mean? So you can go in there and just see which apps just came in there, or maybe the last 30 days or last 10 days or whatever.
Exactly.
I don't know why nobody's thinking of something like that. It'll make app discovery a whole lot easier than the kind of clutter that we have right now.
And it kind of
you can-
spotlights some of the smaller developers too. Like, it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, that would be good. You could call it new arrivals or latest apps or something.
Yeah.
But another way to know about apps is to keep listening to our podcast, of course, because
Exactly.
we keep telling you about new apps, and then you can go and search for the exact name of the app because we'll have told you what it is.
Thank you so much, Fee. And that's why we do these app demos. And so this is why we've been asking you guys to send us your app demos, and then we'll review them and put them on there for the whole world to listen to when we realize it's something that people need to know about. And when you do a good job with your app, definitely we'll have people listen to it. So we got till July the 29th for the third quarter of App Bonanza. And if you have one, send it to us. We'll review it. And if it's something we think people should have, we'll put it on there for the whole world to listen to. So get those apps in, and we'll let you know what we think.
And there is no need for even searching the app name that we show on our podcast. You have to just read the show notes or the YouTube description and find the app.
Exactly. And so the other part that we touched on was the kids stuff. And, I remember when I had kids, I wish we had this, because this was back during the marketplace, Google Marketplace, and there wasn't much in there. And frankly, I don't think I would have been able to search that much on the Play Store or the marketplace at that time, because it was very difficult. The phones that we have, accessibility was not very good. So I'm glad that we now have those things. And if you have a young one, for example, that kids category is the place to go into, so you can see all the different stuff that they have for kids.
Do they have any phones for kids? Like, you know how Amazon, they have Amazon Fire tablets, Amazon Fire for kids. Do they do any phones or tablets apart from that, especially for kids? Or
I do know that Samsung, they don't have a device for the kids, but they have kids mode in most of the phones.
Yeah, you can switch, so they can't go on adult
Most
things.
most phones today, we can set them up with parental control.
Yeah.
So we don't necessarily have to give kids a specific device. We can basically give them whatever we want, just as long as we activate those parental controls.
Yeah, and we've covered those, haven't we, in the settings and things before. So presumably, I wonder would you only get the kids category on the Play Store if that was on? I don't know. Or maybe you wouldn't even be allowed to open the Play Store. Maybe your parent would have to, or caregiver would have to do that. I don't know.
In reality, I think there are a couple companies that have kids phones or phones made specifically for kids. The same thing is true with watches. I just don't remember the name of those companies or the name of those devices at the top of my head. But yes, we do have that. And I believe if you Google it, you'll find those. I know a couple companies that do that. Well, that will do it, though, for this category of the kids tab and the men category. And I hope you guys will check those things out and see if you like them.
This is the Spotlight segment. Stay tuned for premium interviews, device unboxing, and more.
We now move on to the Spotlight segment. And in our Spotlight, we're talking about GAAD, G-A-A-D, Google Accessibility Awareness Day. And that's what we're talking about. Google came out this week, just like every major company there, on the 18th of this month. That was Thursday. And we saw a lot of things relating to accessibility. Basically, what Android has or what Google has, because Google and Android are synonymous with each other, aren't they? So we're looking at Google Accessibility Awareness Day, and there are 5 things that Google came out talking about. The first one that really excites me has to do with Lookout and AI coming to Lookout. And the whole idea is that when it recognizes an image, I could actually interact with it and asking it questions. That's called the IQA, image question and answer. For example, if it's a dog, an image of a dog, I could ask, whether using my voice or using the keyboard, what does the dog look like? Or is the dog happy? That kind of thing. And it will give me the answers based on the AI that generates what or recognizes that dog as an image. So what do you guys think about this? I think it's going to be a major world changer in a sense. And I can't wait for that to be basically merged into TalkBack. I'm excited about it. What do you guys think about this one?
I mean, I'm definitely all for it, because when I use Lookout to already use the image description or get the text kind of stuff out of things, If there's a picture in the middle of my text, I'd love to know what that image is. And I think having the IQA moving into Lookout is actually going to make real life documents and basically real life content even more accessible to us. I know when I was in university, I got a ton of printouts from my professors that had graphics in the middle of the pages within my text. And I never had a clue what those were. I'm thinking now that maybe IQA is moving into Lookout, we may actually have access to know what that is. So it's going to make more content more accessible to us with visual impairments.
I totally agree with you, because if you just take a picture of it like what we do, whether you use a document mode or use text mode and be able to interact with that, I think that would be absolutely beautiful. But I think in this case, one could just take like a document shot and be able to interact with those papers. As you talked about, Cam, you're in school and you have a handout and it has some images on there. You want to know what those images are. And so I'm glad to see that coming on. And the thing that is rather interesting is that RNIB, the Royal National Institute for the Blind there in London, is working with Google with this, or Google is doing it through them, or rather, I don't know how to put it, but the first few people that are going to be testing this will be getting invites from RNIB. So I'm hoping that maybe Fee and Ed could get in here, with RNIB and, be able to test those things out and help us tell them what is working and what is not working. Fee, are you going to get that?
I'll have to see. Things are a bit madly busy right now, but yes, I'll have to look into it and see. I mean, I don't know whether it's going to be just people who work for RNIB or who get invited or what. But it would be very interesting. Yes, it sounds great as long as they make sure it's actually accurate, I think is what I would say.
In other words, I can hear your skepticism about, this AI, especially Chat GPT. And to be honest with you, I'm not all in on. I have never used this service myself, but yeah, it does make sense, and this is why it's going to be out in beta for people to test. And so, those of you that are able to test it can tell them what is not working, and then they'll kind of fine tune that. So it's good that they're not rolling it out, but rolling it out to a few, so that this few can test and let them know. So I see that, what RNIB would be like a pilot area where they could send those invitations to people to test it. And so that's nice. I'm looking forward to this type of thing, because it's going to be a huge improvement to what we have on Lookout and the different capabilities that it has. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah, the only thing is, though, beta testers wouldn't necessarily know that what you're being told is wrong. If I'm here living on my own testing it and I'm reading an image, I could think it's doing a brilliant job because I don't know what the actual image is. Do you see what I mean? So I don't know how they'll sort of quality control that, but it'd be interesting to see what happens. I'm very interested in it. Definitely.
Yeah, but I think what happens is that if you take a picture of a pillow, for example, Fee, and it tells you that I see a boat, in the water, that is not, and then you can tell them, you know what I mean? So,
but what if your pillow is a boat, and what if you have a water bed?
What if it says it's Warren's desk full of stuff he's forgotten about for years and years and years?
Well, then I'm concerned.
And it will be right on. That will be right on.
I'd be concerned why you're taking that. If you're taking a picture of a pillow and that's the result, I'd be concerned.
I would.
Well, maybe I have a little pillow on my desk. You never can tell.
Well,
you never know what you can find on that desk.
Well, I know. I was just going to say, and maybe it's handy, like if you've just, you're tired, you've done lots today, and you just have a little nap for a few minutes on the pillow.
Yeah, but don't tell me it's a boat on water. So that's what
No.
I'm talking about. So, I mean, people can find, and because I've seen things that, those object recognition apps, and it'll call something an airplane or whatever, and it's not an airplane. So these are the type of things that people could report that, hey, I actually took a picture of whatever and it called it this. And you can send them the picture and they will see what it is and help us, shape it out. So I think it's a good thing to have people test it. The next item, though, even though it's not about us, but a lot of times we're so selfish, we think about ourselves, and I'm thinking about those of us that are blind, that sometimes we forget about other people with disabilities. I mean, this article, the GAAD thing, says that there are like over 1 billion of people with disabilities out there. So it's not just us, there are all kinds of disabilities out there. And this one has to do with Google Maps, and those in wheelchair would know if a place is accessible or not. Google has rolled this out, I think, back in 2020, but it used to be that you have to opt in order to be able to see that. But now, whether you are in a wheelchair or not, if you're looking at a place and you click the about of that place, you can see if it has wheelchair accessibility or not. So that's a good thing that is out there, and people don't have to go digging for it to find it. I like that idea better than what it was.
That's really good because, for example, I'm not a wheelchair user, but I've got friends who are. So, if I was meeting them, I wouldn't want to say, oh, let's meet at such and such a restaurant, and then get there and find there's a load of steps at the front or something, or the local underground station isn't wheelchair accessible, things like that. So that's a really good idea. And I mean, even you might only need wheelchair accessibility for a short time. Like I broke a bone in my foot in 2020, and so for a short while I was on crutches mostly. But if I went out for a longer walk with my parents, we did get a wheelchair from a local charity shop, and it was just a lot easier to not do, because doing stairs on crutches is a bit dangerous as well.
It is hell. How dangerous.
Yes. So so I think it's good that everyone can view that stuff now, because I might have just wanted to view it and then I might want to say, okay, I don't need that anymore. I think that's good that it's more widely available and you don't have to sort of opt into it. That's really good.
And the next one, talking about, other people with disabilities, this one has to do with live captioning something, or live transcribe, that is closely related to that. Of course, those of us that can hear, or we got good hearing, we usually take things for granted. For example, someone calls you on the phone, we just have a voice conversation and things like that. Now, if you call someone who is hard of hearing or someone who is deaf, now it's going to be hard for them to be able to, speak back to you or whatever the case may be. But now, though, let's say someone is not able to speak, but they can hear, for example, they can type their responses and it would be read back to you during that call as if you're having a live conversation. And so I think this is something good that, Google is doing, and any other company that does this is doing something good for such people with those disabilities. And it's good to know that we're taking things seriously when it comes to people with disabilities, because, I mean, guys, this is something that could happen to any of us, right? Some of us were not born blind, some of us were, some people were not born deaf, but things happen. And so if we could think of these things as things that could happen to any of us at any given time, I think we would be more serious about what we do about accessibility. But most oftentimes we take those things for granted.
So will there be a delay if this service is used? Because if we tell someone, how are you? And that person types the response, say, I'm fine, and till the response is read to you, will there be a delay?
Well, I don't think that it depends on how fast the person types. And so if I call someone that I know they have such disabilities, I'm going to give them time to be able to type back their response and have it read back to me. So it's just whether you know that that person has such a disability or not. And if you call them and if it's someone that you are not aware that they have such a disability, they could let you know that, hey, I am using such and such, so give me time. And, there are a lot of times that maybe I, call a support for something and I have to tell them, hey, I'm blind, so give me a little bit of time because I'm trying to read back your response, especially when I'm doing those live chat and whatever. So I got to read your response and then be able to go type my response. So I don't see this thing being a problem at all. It depends on who you're chatting with.
Will it type out what the person on the phone is saying so that if someone's deaf, they can read that on the screen? Or is it just for speaking the person's words?
So here's what live transcribe is like. Any audio that comes through to your phone, comes out as text. So if I'm talking to someone who's deaf, anything that I say is being shown as text on his or her screen. Yes.
Yeah.
And then they could type their own, and theirs would be read to me with the TTS engine. And so we're having a conversation. And now this is available right now if you have a Pixel 6 or 7 series. And it's going to be coming to the likes of Pixel 4 and 5, and also others. Some European languages are also supported. I think maybe Italiano, Spanish, maybe French. I don't remember, but a few of the European languages are supported. But like I said, right now you can access that on your Pixel 6 and 7, and later on is coming to the Pixel 4 and 5.
I don't think they should restrict that kind of service to Pixels. That doesn't seem very fair.
It's also going to be coming to some select Samsung phones to use the award.
Oh, okay.
Some select Samsung phones. And that tells me mainly it's going to be like some of the top tier Samsung phones, like the S series or the F series, like, the fan edition series, and maybe some of the high end A series, your A54s,
they want your money.
A53s,
they want
and
your
all
money.
of that.
Apple go, oh, well, here are these accessibility features, but you have to spend silly money on your phone, Although I don't think
went on and looked, and Samsung phones already have TTY voice and TTY hearing, or the combination, so TTY full. So they already have these features. So I'm wondering if this is now just going to be a bit better of an integration, opposed to a whole new suite.
It is a better thing. It's different because like live transcribe is something that works on your phone. And so the phone has to have good computational capability of doing that. And I think that's why it's only a few select Samsung phones. But I can see a lot of the A series phones, most especially the new ones, will have it. And so I think it's going to be a good thing for everyone. Most especially if we have friends that are hard of hearing. I do have some of those friends, some of my students, some have graduated, and we still communicate, but only on text and things like that. It'll be nice to have a conversation once in a while.
It could actually be good if you were deafblind as well, if it works well with Braille display.
Yeah, well, definitely it will show the text in your Braille if you have your Braille paired to it, because it generates the text on your phone. So that works. I'm going to try it with one of my ex-students and see what happens. I don't think he has a Pixel, though.
So to answer Fee's first question, Google is not limiting this service. Any manufacturer can enable it, but their phone should only meet the system requirements that are set for live captioning to work.
Oh, okay.
Now, the other thing has to do with tabs, how they work with TalkBack on Chrome, and that's getting a bump. You can actually see that working on Google Chrome and TalkBack.
So it'll be presented better, is that?
Yeah,
To us,
exactly.
yeah.
The presentation is going to be a whole lot better than what we've been used to.
Oh, good.
The next item that I'm excited about is the Wear OS. And you guys, you all know that the TTS on our watches is not kosher, trying to be nice here. But Google says this year they're going to change that, and it's going to be faster and it's going to be better. So I'm looking forward to that. And that tells me, maybe when Pixel Watch 2 comes out, we may be having that. And I'm thinking maybe Samsung is also going to have that in their upcoming Watch 6. Cam, you have a Samsung watch, don't you?
Yes, I do.
So do I.
Yeah, you actually, both of you have the Samsung watches. I think Austin has one too. Or Austin, didn't you get?
No, I have the Pixel Watch.
Yeah, I thought you had the Watch 4 from Samsung. Didn't you get one?
I had the Watch 4, but then I gave it to my dad. So
okay.
I got a Pixel Watch as a birthday gift from my brother and sister-in-law.
I see. So I hope that this improvement comes to our existing Pixel and Samsung watches, whether you have Samsung Watch 4, 5 series or whatever, that this would be rolled out to you, because the whole thing is going to be part of the Wear OS 4, so, and I'm sure that these watches will qualify to upgrade to Wear OS 4.
I'm not sure. Because the app I go into to do stuff with my watch is a Samsung app, so that might be a different thing.
So our watches are running the Wear OS, but so I can't see why they wouldn't receive Wear OS 4. I know our managers are, like, our watch manager is a Samsung specific, but I do believe that we will receive Wear OS 4. I'm actually thinking any of us with 5s, we most likely will receive Wear OS 4 and possibly Wear OS 5 if that's a thing. I have not noticed or read anything that indicates our watch hardware is really getting a mega boost. So I would expect Wear OS 4 to come to all current devices.
Yeah, I think the voice on my watch now is much better than the one I had on my watch that I had I think it was 2018 or something. But it's still slightly strange. I think it's on the Galaxy watches it's a Samsung voice, isn't it?
Yes, and they're notably horrible.
I think the one on the watch I've got now is still loads better than the one a few years ago, which was in the days of voice assistant rather than talkback, and that voice was kind of strange, and so it has improved. But if it's going to improve some more, that would be great.
Yeah, and this is why Google works together with Samsung. And of course, I see the Watch 4 getting it too, because Samsung actually has, I think, maybe like a 3 or so years of OS support for their watches. So definitely those watches are going to be getting the Wear OS 4. And if they are bringing theirs out before Google, I'm almost positive that the Watch 6 will have it, and then they'll roll it out to the Watch 5 as well. So I think we're all going to benefit from this, whether you have a Samsung watch or you have a Pixel watch. I hope that other watch manufacturers like the Fossil guys and the Mopvoy guys get the same treatment, so that we'll have a same playing field.
Coming up next, our App of the Week, in which we show you how to use the app and review its accessibility. You can submit your recording for this segment. Email it to us at contactus@blindandroidusers.com.
Up next is the app of the week, and this week we're talking about speech notes, and an app intended for you to make voice dictation. In other words, audio to text. You do dictation and you can copy that and paste it wherever you want. And now here's that app we're talking about, and that's speech notes. Hi. For episode 128 app of the week, I'm demonstrating speech notes. This is powered by Google. The app costs you like $22 or $23 if you want a lifetime support, or you could do like $2 a month or something like that. I'll be showing that when we get into the app. For today's demonstration, I'm using my Samsung S21, and in the way of speech services, I am utilizing the Google Speech Services, and I believe it's variant voice number 5. I am on my home screen now and will navigate my way to the speech notes and get started and show you a quick overview of what the app can and cannot do.
Speech notes.
Here is speech notes, and I'll tap here to activate.
Allow speech notes to record audio while using the app button out of pager.
The first thing we heard is permission, and we're being asked as to whether or not we would allow speech notes to access the recording. In other words, access our microphone. And so we have allow while using the app, and that's the one I want to choose. So you could choose not to allow it, but of course, if I choose not to allow it, then I'm not going to be able to use the app. So I'm going to tap on allow while using the app.
Speech notes. Quick tips. Tap the mic to start dictating. Enable background dictation in preferences. Select dictation language by tapping the flag or the globe icons. Rename note by tapping its name. F1 F10 keys are customizable stamps. Use for common or hard to dictate texts. Try our widget directly on your home screen.
The first thing we heard is some tutorial or little tutorial on how to go about using the app. And of course, it sounds like this also can be used with your computer using your browser. We are therefore now in the menu eye of the app. And it does have several buttons, especially near the top part of the screen, and does have some buttons as well toward the bottom. Let me now take some time and navigate to these buttons and show you what we have. Starting from the top left corner, of course, we have a typical navigation drawer.
Open navigation drawer button.
We have that open navigation drawer there on the top left corner. Moving to the right and going rightward, we've got the following items.
Note 1.
Right there to the right of that open navigation drawer is a text string that says Note 1. Now I'm going to go right from here.
United States.
There's a button that says United States. Moving right.
Send.
We have send. Next.
New.
New. Of course, that means if I tap here, I'll be opening a new note. Moving right.
More options button.
We've got more options. Now, that's the last button there on the top right corner. Now below, starting from the left below the navigation drawer, we have another set of buttons, and I'm going to start from that left one and going toward the right. Here's what we got.
Decrease font size button.
We got a button that says decrease the font size. So if you have some usable site and you'd like to either increase or decrease the fonts, that's how you go about doing that. Next button.
Increase font size button.
Increase the font size. Next.
Font type button.
The font type, so whether you want to choose Arial or whatever, you tap here to go choose the type of fonts that you prefer. Next.
Toggle dark theme button.
Toggle dark theme. So in other words, if you want to change it from light to dark theme, you tap here and choose the one you want. Next, the last button here on the right.
Toggle keyboard button.
Toggle keyboard. So it means if you don't want to do voice dictation, you tap on that and that should bring up the keyboard for you to use the keyboard. Now let's go toward the bottom now and see what buttons we have here toward the bottom. I'm going to be starting from the left and just about 3/4 down from the middle of the phone from the left. Here's what we got.
Undo button.
We have the undo. So in other words, if you've dictated something or you've typed something, you could tap on that and it'll undo what you just did. Next,
Redo button.
there's a redo. So you could do that and it will redo what you just undid. Next button,
Copy all button.
copy all. And to the farthest right corner on the edge, we have
Click to start or pause speech recognition button.
click to start or pause the recognition. And that's the button that you tap on to start your voice dictation. Now below all of that row, we have
Tap here to remove ads.
we have something that says tap here to remove ads. Let's see how much this will cost us. Let's tap here.
Ads free and extra features including custom keys. Your contribution goes 100% to our developers. One time, only $22.99 for life. Recommended for most. Radio button, selected, 1 of 2, in list, 2 items.
Or
7 days free, and then only $2.99 per month. Cancelable at any time. Radio button, not selected, 2 of 2.
so you could try this for 7 days and don't forget to not cancel it because or you'll be charged for $2 thereafter. So if you just simply want to try it for 7 days, then you choose that and use it. And before the 7 days is up, if you don't want to pay for it, then you tap on unsubscribe. All right, let's go back now.
Quick tips. Tap the mic to start dictating. Enable background dictation in preferences. Select dictation language by
Now-
tapping the flag.
I want to go up to the open door navigation near the top left corner because we want to see what we have here. Usually things like settings and all of that is found here. So I'll put my finger down and tap on the navigation door found near the top left corner of the phone.
Open navigation drawer button.
Here we go.
Menu. Speech notes. Enjoy notes talking.
All right, I am now in the menu and let's go through the items that I found here in the menu. Putting my finger down, we encounter the following items.
New note.
There's new note.
Open note 3 period.
You could open an existing note.
Preferences.
We've got the preferences. We'll come back to that shortly.
Troubleshooting.
Troubleshooting.
Google Drive backup beta.
Google Drive backup, and that's in beta.
Export all files.
You could export your files.
Current note.
Then we come across current note.
Send.
Send, and that send is like sharing or something like that. Let's go down.
Floppy disk save.
Floppy disk save. In other words, it's just showing you that you can tap here to save. It doesn't mean that we're saving it to a floppy disk. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's keep going.
Delete.
We got delete,
Print export to PDF.
print/export to PDF.
App.
Then we hear app,
Premium status.
premium status. So if you tap here, you'll check your status to see as to whether or not you are a premium subscriber or not. And of course, I haven't subscribed. So if I tap here, of course, it's going to show me all that premium subscription and all of that. And so let's move on to the next item.
Share app.
Share the app.
Instructions. Privacy and terms.
Instructions, privacy, and terms. Next,
Rate and feedback.
you could rate the app.
V4.0.4. Check for update.
All right, next,
Prerequisites and more.
next.
Required. Google app.
It says required Google app. In other words, it uses the Google app to power the voice dictation.
Go offline. Download languages.
You could use it offline, but before you do, though, you want to make sure that your language pack has been downloaded so you'll have that offline dictation capability.
Bluetooth. Offensive words and more.
Bluetooth, offensive words, and more. So in other words, just like you have in the voice dictation from Google, you can turn off offensive words so that when you say those words you're not supposed to say, it may just blip those things out. Next.
Additional services by us.
Additional services by them. You tap here, it's going to show you what other additional services that they have running. Next.
New. Transcribe recordings.
And we hear new transcribe recordings. And so if we tap here, it's probably going to show us what it involves. We'll come back to that, but let's see if we have any more items.
Speech keys dictation keyboard.
Speech keys dictation keyboard. So basically, this is another keyboard of theirs. Just like you have Gboard, they have a keyboard that is intended for voice dictation. So it's not the same thing with speech notes, but it's another app of its own, which is a full-blown keyboard. However, if you go in here, if you have a newer device, it may say it's not compatible with your device, especially if you have version 13 or higher of Android. At least that's what I found out when I tried it a little while ago. The last item here we have is another app from them, and this one is called
Get the Text Reader.
Get the Text Reader. I mentioned something earlier about the transcription services. Let me go now to that item and take a look at what they say regarding that.
New. Transcribe recordings.
Let's tap here.
Web, Chrome. 80%. Automatic transcriptions for just 10 cents a minute. Fast turnarounds. WebView.
And so this is for transcribing your audio. So maybe you have an existing audio that you would like to transcribe to text. You could subscribe to this and be able to transcribe those. Let me simply triple tap with 2 fingers and let it read the information so we know what this is all about.
Sign in button. Speech notes automatic transcription. Immediate results with just a few clicks. Heading 1. Sign in with Google button. Transcribe recordings, audio or video, using the most accurate automatic transcription engines. Secure and private. Heading 2. Video. Play button. Unmute button. Disabled. Enter full screen button. Show more media controls, menu pop-up button, more options. Elapsed time, 0-100, video time scrubber, slider, total time, 116. Fast turnaround, results within minutes. Includes timestamps, auto punctuation and subtitles at unbeatable price of only 10 cents a minute. Heading 2. Protects your privacy. No human in the loop, and unlike many other vendors, we do not keep your audio. Pay per use, no recurring payments. Upload your files or transcribe directly from Google Drive, YouTube or any other online source. Heading 3. Simple. No download or install. Just send us the file and get the results in minutes. Get started button. Asterisk. If you need human transcription, check out Go Transcript for human-generated transcriptions. Want to know more? Heading 4. Bullet. 1 of 3, Level 1, 3 items. Documentation. Hollow Bullet. 1 of 7, Level 2, 7 items. Demo video. Hollow Bullet. 2 of 7. About and FAQs. Hollow Bullet. 3 of 7. Real-life samples. Hollow Bullet. 4 of 7. User manual. Hollow Bullet. 5 of 7. Affiliates program. Hollow Bullet. 6 of 7. API and webhooks. Hollow Bullet. 7 of 7. Zapier hands-on demo. Bullet. 2 of 3, Level 1, 3 items. Useful. Hollow Bullet. 1 of 5, Level 2, 5 items. Automatically transcribe all your phone calls. Hollow Bullet. 2 of 5. Minimize large files. Hollow Bullet. 3 of 5. Convert WAV to MP3. Hollow Bullet. 4 of 5. Convert WAV to FLAC. Hollow Bullet. 5 of 5. Extract audio only out of video. Bullet. 3 of 3, Level 1, 3 items. Additional web apps. Hollow Bullet. 1 of 2, Level 2, 2 items. Dictation. Hollow Bullet. 2 of 2. Text-to-speech reader. Real-life samples. Heading 3. Transcription results are real, first taken untouched, automatically generated by using this software. Play button. Elapsed time 0-100, audio flag or the globe icons.
I stopped that. As you can see, it tells you all about the services that they have. And so if this is something that you need, then you could subscribe to it, of course, and choose it appropriately as it best fits your need. Let's go back now.
Quick tips. Speech notes. Open navigation.
I am back in the main UI, and let's look at some of the items because I had talked about looking at the preferences. That's probably having some important items that we need to look at. So let's go ahead now and tap on that Open Navigation drawer again and go tap on Preferences. I'll now tap on Open Navigation drawer.
Open navigation drawer. Button. Menu. Delete.
I am now in the Open Navigation drawer, and next we want to tap on Preferences.
Preferences.
Preferences, let's tap here and get started.
Settings. Navigate up. Button.
I am now in the Preferences. Let's look at the items found within the Preferences. Starting from the top, here's what we got.
Auto save. When on, speech notes will automatically save every change you make. Switch on. 2 of 16.
Next,
Auto upload to drive on save. Currently off. Not recommended. 3 of 16.
it's up to you. If you want to be automatically uploaded to Drive, you could do so.
General. Heading. 4 of 16.
General heading, and under that we've got
Bluetooth. Offensive words and more. Device level speech recognition settings. 5 of 16.
okay, next.
Dark theme. Great for battery saving too. Switch on. 6 of 16.
So by default, it's set to dark mode. You could turn it off if you prefer it light. Let's keep going.
Listen in the background. If microphone is on, keep listening when turning screen off or sending the app to the background. Switch off. 7 of 16.
So it's turned off by default, but if you want to be able to keep doing dictation with your screen shut off, you could turn this on. Next,
Premium features. Heading. 8 of 16.
we now come to the premium features, and I'm supposing that everything below here will have to do with premium services subscription. So here's what we got.
Longest break premium. If no speech, wait this long before turning off recognition. Premium feature. 9 of 16.
So in other words, you don't have to worry about those pauses. Even if you pause for a long time, when you start talking, it will recognize your voice and pick up your dictation from where you left off. So it's not going to cut you off just because you have paused. And that falls in the premium category. Next.
Beep premium. When recognition is lost for a moment. Switch off. 10 of 16.
So in other words, it will beep if the recognition has been lost or something happens. It'll beep to let you know that I'm no longer hearing what you're saying. Next.
Future features. Not supported yet, and we don't want to make any promises, but here are some of the exciting features we're working on. Heading. 11 of 16.
So this has to do with things that they're dreaming of or thinking of doing, and they're not making any promises, but these are things that they may be working on. And here are some of those things that they may work on and bring to the app or may not bring to the app. We've got
Cloud sync and storage will be available with subscription. 12 of 16.
next,
Custom dictionary. 13 of 16.
next,
Arranging and collecting notes. 14 of 16.
next,
Checklist support. 15 of 16.
and the last one.
And more 3 period. 16 of 16.
And that's the last item there. Let's go back now to the menu though and
Quick
do
tips.
a little quick
Speech
dictation.
notes. Open navigation drawer.
So here we are in the menu and you could tap on the new, or in reality, there's really no need to actually tap on the new to start a voice dictation. You could simply tap on that button here at the bottom that we saw earlier, which is this button.
Click to start or pause speech recognition. Button.
And we're going to try that and see what happens.
Quick tips. Allow speech notes to send you notifications. Allow. Button. Music volume set to 100%.
And you could allow it or you could say no.
Don't allow. Button.
It's up to you. I'll say don't allow for now.
Quick tips. Speech notes. Quick tips.
All right. So if I tap on that record or start listening or whatever again, that will start the voice dictation or open up the microphone and start listening for my voice dictation. I'll try that again.
Click to start or pause speech recognition. Button.
Let's tap here. Hello and welcome to Blind Android Users Podcast, period. New paragraph. This is a quick dictation, comma, to see if this works with my voice dictation or not, period, new paragraph. I will now bring this to a close, comma, and check what we have dictated so far, period.
Click to start our. Hello and welcome to Blind Android Users Podcast.
I just put my finger down to stop the read back. And of course, now that we've dictated something, of course, we're going to find new buttons toward the bottom. Of course, we're still going to find things like undo, redo. But then we have a new item here. And here's what I'm talking about. Starting from the left, we've got that
Undo button.
undo, going right,
Redo button.
going right.
Copy all button.
There's that copy all. And of course, to the right there
Click to start or pause speech recognition button.
is that click to pause that speech recognition. And that's what we have in the way of the speech notes, which would cost you $23 for a lifetime or $2 a month if you prefer to go that route. Thanks for listening. That's it about speech notes, and I hope you find it to be useful and you could give it a try. And if you like it, you can buy it. And now the G Show, or what Austin refers to as the Joshua Screen Reader, aka Commentary Screen Reader, CSR. This is where some feature of this screen reader is demonstrated. And to close today's episode, Karene brings us that commentary screen reader, which I call the confused screen reader, or Joshua if you're Austin. And now here's that entry from Karene.
Hi. In this G-Show episode, I'm going to talk about aliases. Aliases is a feature that enables you to give alternative names to elements in applications. Let's consider that you want to call the voice message in WhatsApp record. You can do that with an alias. Also, in G-Show, new options and functions are in Chinese before they are added to translation files. Using aliases, you can change those names, Chinese names, to your language. Let's see how aliases work.
Main menu, item, main, G-Show settings.
I will open G-Show settings from the main menu. The main menu is accessed by swiping down then right.
G-Show plus. Reading settings.
Then I'll go to feedback settings.
Feedback settings. Feedback settings.
Then to the settings of the sound scheme that I'm using.
Sound scheme. Sounds 1. Sound scheme set. Sounds 1.
Some sound effect names are still in Chinese. I'll select one of them.
Click.
Fuji. Dian.
Speech.
The first Chinese option is now focused. I will go to main menu and select edit node alias. You can also assign a gesture.
Main menu. Edit node alias.
Edit node alias.
Edit alias G-Show plus.
It will show me the name of the focused node.
Edit alias G-Show.
element. I will double tap. Now I can
Text box.
start typing. I will clear first this name.
Functions menu. Items from functions menu.
Functions by swiping up then right and then clear.
Clear.
And I will type charging started.
Browse by touch suspended.
Because this sound effect plays when the charging is started.
CHARGING space STARTED.
And
Browse by touch resumed.
I will tap OK.
OK button.
This message is still in Chinese. It is telling me that custom node alias is not enabled. And it is asking me if I want to enable it for this change to take effect. I will tap on OK.
Cancel button. OK button. Edit alias Joshua Plus.
And now node aliases feature is enabled. I
Cancel button.
will tap cancel because I have finished the edit of the name.
Sounds 1.
Let's see.
Timer. Speech recognition error. Charging started.
Instead of the Chinese name, it told me, or it spoke the name that I've assigned. So
Buttons.
if I try to read it character by character,
Progress. Characters. A. R. G. I. N. G.
as you can hear, it is reading the name that I've specified, not the actual name.
Charging started.
Okay, let's go back to another application.
Feed. Joshua Plus.
I'll go now to WhatsApp.
WhatsApp.
I will change the camera to cam.
Message text box. Attach button. Camera button.
Also with the same method, edit node alias.
Google. Speak. Edit node alias. Message text. Edit alias WhatsApp. Edit. Cancel. Edit alias WhatsApp. Camera. Camera text box.
I will just remove
Delete.
the
Delete.
ERA. It will
OK.
be.
Cam text box. OK button.
And I'll tap OK
Edit alias WhatsApp. Cancel button.
and then cancel to go back.
Message text. Cam button.
Now, whenever camera is focused in WhatsApp, it will be replaced with cam. But you should pay attention to something. Let's see.
Today.
Message.
Yesterday sleeping bags are big. Warm bag. Main menu. Items from 1 to 16. 19 items in total.
This message is focused by swiping, and if I swipe to the next element, I will hear another message. But in fact, there are more than one independent element in this message. So I'll try to edit the node alias.
Cancel. Action. Enable. TT. Speak. Edit. Edit node alias. Message text. Edit alias WhatsApp.
And I will
Items from
see
1 to 4. 4 items in total.
what are the element names that I can change here.
Edit alias WhatsApp. Yesterday.
There is the date,
Sleeping bags are big.
The
1547.
the time,
Read.
and the state.
Cancel button.
So each one of those is treated independently. This means that I'll consider that I sent a message or I have received a message that is containing the word camera. Only this camera word, which is the text of the message or the content of the message, which is here as an independent thing, it will be changed to become cam. And this is a problem here because, as I said, or as I showed you before, when I try to navigate this by characters, it will be treated as cam, not camera. Also, if I try to copy it using G-show copy, it will be cam. So you should pay attention to how items are treated in G-show, and it is not the same with all applications. So it's better to check as I did now.
Edit alias WhatsApp.
And I would do
Yesterday.
a
Edit.
test,
Read. Cancel button.
typing the word camera
Message text box.
and sending it to myself.
Capital C. A. M. M. E. R. A. A. Attach button. Send button. Items from C. Message text box. Cam 20. Emoji button.
So it said cam. I try
Cam.
to
Buttons. Characters. Capital C, A, M. New line. 2. Emoji button. What's home screen 1. Back button. Telegram.
So I'll show you in Telegram, for example, things are different. I'm now in Telegram in the saved messages, and I'll see one message.
Jishuo.
2. Sent 2149. Seen. https://youtube.be/ main menu. Items
If
from
I
1
try to
more button.
do the edit node alias after I focus this message,
Open. More. Main menu. Open. Enable curtain. Edit. Open up. Edit node alias. Edit alias Telegram. Edit alias. HTTP. Cancel button. Cancel button.
so it is one focus, which is the message and the time when it was received. I hope that this point is clear, so let's move to another thing. Another way to edit the node alias is by tapping the edit the pronunciation of the currently focused element. Of course, you can find this in the main menu. Also, you can assign a gesture to it, and it can be the dynamic option that you can find if you swipe after the cancel in the first page before hitting the more in the main menu. This is a dynamic option, as I said, so it changes according to the element that you are focusing. So if the element has actions, it will show you actions. If it has links, it will show you the open and URL. If it's a slider, it will show you the adjust slider value. And if it doesn't have any other thing, it will show you the pronunciation of the currently focused element. I'll try.
iPhone. Telegram. WhatsApp. App. Karene, May the 4th. Resends button. Karene, May the new home button. New chat button.
The new chat, and it is focused.
Main menu. More button. Google. Speak current lighting. Edit node alias. More button. Cancel. Edit the pronunciation of the currently focused element button.
Here I can
Edit alias. Edit dictionary.
I can edit it as or add it as a dictionary entry.
Edit alias.
Also, I can edit the alias.
Edit alias WhatsApp. Edit new chat. Cancel button.
How to enable the alias or disable it? You will go to Jishuo settings.
Main Jishuo settings. Aliases manager.
Then
Reading settings. Label reading settings.
reading settings.
Notification. Operate. Reading settings. Reading settings.
Then
Custom label and alias settings.
custom label and alias settings.
Custom label. Use aliases manager. Use custom node aliases checkbox checked.
This checkbox use custom node aliases. When it is unchecked, all the aliases that you have created will not take any effect.
Aliases manager.
In the aliases manager, you can edit, add, and delete aliases.
Aliases manager. Jishuo plus.
They are divided or sorted according to the applications. So if I tap the Jishuo plus, I will find the aliases related to Jishuo, and I can add another aliases.
Custom label. Add button. Battery full. Delete.
Sundian
OK button. Cancel.
If I long press an alias, I can delete it. Also, if I long press the app, I can delete all the aliases related to this app.
WhatsApp Dotson. Delete WhatsApp Dotson. Aliases manager.
All the aliases are in the Jishuo's main folder, which is in Chinese, in a folder called aliases. Let's see.
CX file. Aliases. WhatsApp.gsha aliases.
If I want to share the aliases with others, I can copy those files
Gshallow plus SN 78B.
from here and share them, and the other person just needs to put the file in the folder, the same folder, which is in the main gshow folder, then aliases, and enable the use of custom node aliases, so this person will be able to use those aliases that I've created. This was my demo of the custom node aliases in gshow. I hope that it was clear and useful. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Karene. It is curtain drawing time, thus we come to the end of today's episode, and up next we give you information on how to get hold of us. And with that, we come to the end of this week's episode. We're looking forward to seeing you again next week, and until then...
Austin, how can people get hold of us?
To contact us, you can send an email to contactus@blindandroidusers.com. You can join our mailing list by sending an email to blindandroidusers plus subscribe@groups.io. You can join our Telegram, Facebook, Discord, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. The links for everything will be at the bottom of the show notes and also in the video description of the YouTube channel. And also the links are in the websites panel of the YouTube channels.
And that's it, folks. From me, it's goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Blind Android Users Podcast. Until we see you next week, don't forget to leave us your comments and suggestions via our email contact or using any of our social media sites. Have a great week.